Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. We are broadcasting to you live from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Channel studios and streaming on yorbamedia.com. All right, my first guest today, Roger White, CEO, Theralase Technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, hold on to your hats, sit down and buckle up, because these people have something that every person who's ever had cancer definitely needs to know about what's going on. Major breakthrough information. All right, Roger, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for showing up.
Thank you, Michael. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
All right. Let me back up just a little bit, because I don't want to steal any of your thunder. I am so impressed with your product that it's hard for me to contain myself. Please give us a little background on you and your company before you do. The TLTFF is the symbols, ladies and gentlemen. You definitely need to write that down, TLTFF. Please, Roger, tell us about you and your company.
Well, myself, I'm the founder of the company for 20 years. I'm an electrical engineer by training, and I've partnered with some of the best minds in the world to develop technology both for healing tissue and for destroying tissue. So Theralase is built on the premise of helping people and aiding people, and the company has two divisions. A therapeutic division, which uses medical lasers, specific wavelengths, specific powers to heal tissue and to eliminate pain very successfully. We also have what are called photodynamic compounds, which are specially built molecules which have the ability to enter into cancer cells and, when light activated, destroy the cancer cell without surgery, without radiation therapy, without chemotherapy. So two very important things, I think, in the public markets and with people dealing with pain and destroying cancer.
It's amazing stuff. I was talking to you yesterday before the show. I want to get into all of the products and what the products do and how this all works, but there is one part that you left out that was just absolutely amazing to me. When you use the laser on cancer, tell our audience what the process is, what the time frame is for moving that cancer out of the body.
Well, our lead cancer, what we're looking at to develop first, is bladder cancer. With bladder cancer, it's the fifth most common cancer in the U.S., and it's a very deadly disease with an 80% recurrence rate. What happens with bladder cancer is it starts from the inside and grows out, so from what's called the urothelium, and grows out into the organ. With our technology, it's water-soluble. What we can do is we can use a catheter, and we can inject that compound in a liquid form inside the bladder. It takes about 30 to 40 minutes to be absorbed into the cancer cells. The bladder is then voided. We then fill the bladder with distilled water to give it shape. We put a fiber optic bundle, which is like fishing line, which lights up. It activates the compound, it destroys the cancer, and you basically urinate out the cancer. The whole procedure takes less than 2 to 3 hours.
To cleanse yourself of cancer with your products, less than 2 to 3 hours.
That's correct.
That is amazing technology. I'm so happy you came up with that. Okay, I wanted everybody to get a scope of the magnitude of the conversations we're having today. Now, let me digress, if I can, just a little bit, and give you some room to talk to me about the products that your company sells now.
Sure. Well, our current technology, we have a therapeutic product. We have what's called the TLC 1000. So this is a product which is used to eliminate pain, reduce inflammation, and accelerate tissue healing. Basically how it works is that every cell in your body has light-sensitive proteins called chromophores, or cytochromes, which have the ability to absorb light energy and transform it into chemical energy. So you can use light and lasers of specific wavelengths and specific powers to heal tissue. There's no side effects. The efficacy levels, or how well it works, are in the 80 to 90% levels, so above that of pharmaceutical drugs. And it's tremendous technology. We've sold 1,200 systems, 800 in Canada, 400 across the U.S. Millions of patients have successfully used this technology. Anyone who has used it loves it. It's amazing technology. We are launching a new technology in the fourth quarter of this year, and it's just an enhancement to what we currently have. what happens is that patients come in various sizes and skin colorations, and this affects the amount of light absorption into tissue. So what we've come up with is a new technology which takes that into account. So it takes into account a patient's physical characteristics and thus their optical characteristics, and it delivers that exact dose of energy which is needed to heal them at that tissue depth. So you're going to see efficacy rates in the 90 to 100% range with this technology. The pain market in the U.S. is huge. It's $100 billion annually spent on dealing with acute and chronic pain. And according to recent stats, it's showing that surgery and pharmaceutical drugs can only impact around 50% of that. So you've got $50 billion market, which is not being well serviced by the U.S. medical system. This technology has the ability to fill that void because it's a technology which is proven, it's clinically proven, it's scientifically proven, and it's able to go in and heal pain, which is a big problem in today's society.
Wow, I hope that you get these out there in the world fast. Where are how many locations do you have? And let's just talk the Americas, U.S. and Canada.
Sure, around 1,200 locations across Canada and the U.S. Most of them are in Canada, but we're expanding rapidly into the U.S. So around 400 locations. So we have a clinic locator. If you go to our website, www.theralase.com, it lists the locations, and so individuals who are interested in receiving that treatment can see if there's a location near them. Now, with 400 locations, it's probably not going to be next door, but as we expand, hopefully there are going to be locations next door.
Yes, I would imagine so. There is a couple of calls that we need to make out to people because there are physicians and there are patients that physicians can get your technology in their office now, and the patients. So open that up because there's people out there that with cancer that could definitely use your help right now to get cured. I mean, and let me go ahead and do that, and then I have another follow-up question real quick.
Sure. If we're going to jump into the cancer technology, we're in the preclinical stage. We're not in the human trials yet, okay? Mm-hmm. That's going to start in first quarter 2015. But what we've seen is nothing short of phenomenal. These drugs, when they're light-activated, have shown 100% kill across the board, across a wide range of cancers. Oh. We're talking brain cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, prostate, pancreatic, bladder. The list goes on and on. So we've had tremendous, tremendous results. And this is with no side effects. We've seen 0 side effects as a result of using this. Now, this is in the preclinical stage. We're not clinical yet. That'll happen in early 2015. But the promise of what this technology holds is nothing short of phenomenal.
I'll say, I mean, this truly is, the cure for cancer.
That's what we're working on.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, let's drill down into some of the products that you're going to be releasing in 2014. Give us a broader spectrum, or drill deeper into it if you can.
Well, the products that we're bringing in 2014 in the fourth quarter, so September-October time range, is going to be an enhanced version of our current technology. So this is a technology which is going to be able to isolate exactly where your pain is and be able to deliver exact doses of energy to that to able to heal it. And we're talking, 10, 15, 20 treatments, something in the typical range, $50 to $100 a treatment.
Oh.
You may be talking $1,000 or $2,000 to remove your pain. You may be spending that now monthly on pharmaceutical drugs. If you're looking at surgeries, you're probably looking into the tens of thousands of dollars. So here's a technology which is scientifically and clinically proven to be extremely effective in dealing with pain, in reducing inflammation, and for accelerating tissue healing. So you could use this for post-surgically, you could use it for sports injuries, you could use it for trauma, you could use it for wound healing. There's a number of different applications that you could use this technology. So why this technology is so effective, the first law of photochemistry is that light must reach the tissue of interest to have an effect. What I like to say, or the analogy I like to use, is if you're watering a plant and you put a couple of drops at the tissue surface and it doesn't reach down to the roots of the plant, it's going to have no effect. Same thing as if you put too much water onto that plant, you're going to drown the roots and you're going to kill the plant. So it's the same thing, the same analogy with light. You've got to put the right amount of light into the tissue to get the best results. And because all of us are different in the amount of subcutaneous fat or the amount of muscle or our skin colors, it affects that light. So this technology takes all the guesswork out of that, and it automates the whole system. So what you can do is your doctor or your practitioner can place this technology on your area, dial in your condition, put your height and your weight, and it'll deliver that exact dose.
Wow. Let's do this. Let's take a break now so that we can talk about some of the other things. And I want to talk about on the next segment, working on destroying cancer, some of the technology, okay?
Absolutely.
All right. We'll be right back with Roger White, Theralase, amazing technology. We got a cure for cancer on the show. I'm so proud to be able to do this. And I want to send a special thanks out to Monk Media and 1-800-Public Relations for all their PR and media support. We'll be right back. Welcome back to the Traders Network. I'm Michael Yorba, your host. Thanks for joining us. We're also streaming to you live on yorbamedia.com and broadcasting to you from the Dallas KFXR 1190 AM Clear Tunnel Studios. All right, I'm joined on the show today with Roger White. He is the president and CEO of Theralase, symbol TLTFF in the United States, and also on the Toronto Stock Exchange, TLT. All right, Roger, I'm just so happy that I can be just a small part of getting the word out on what you're doing, curing cancer. It's a real sensitive subject to me. I lost my wife about a month ago. If I'd have known you a year ago, maybe things would have been different. Talk to me about the technology that Theralase is working on to destroy cancer.
Well, cancer obviously is a very deadly disease. It touches all of our lives, and I'm very sorry to hear about your wife. The technology, what you're looking at now, or the treatments, you're looking at either surgery, you try to cut it out, radiation therapy, you try to cook it out, or chemotherapy, you blast your body with deadly drugs trying to destroy the cancer. All of these have huge side effects. All of them affect the immune system. What our technology does is it's not trying to find a marker on the outside of a cancer cell or saying that this drug is good for this person or for this person. What it is it's a drug, a small molecule, that's able to enter the cancer cell and lock on to the nucleus or the brains of the cancer cell. And if and only when light activated, it starts to cleave or chop up that DNA, and it destroys the brain of the cancer cell. So it destroys the cancer from the inside out. So the cancer cell dies from a natural cell death called apoptosis. It's a big word, but basically means it dies naturally. And what it is a very elegant way to destroy a very deadly disease. So you can systematically go in, locate, and destroy cancer on a very selective basis. So it's a very unique way of destroying it. And it's only when these drugs are light activated. So we've tried it on a Petri dish work. We've tried it across many different cancers. We've tried it on animal models. We've seen success again and again and again with the technology. So now we're finishing that work this year, and we're going to start enrolling subjects both in Canada and the U.S. for bladder cancer as early as first quarter 2015.
Wow. What is the time frame on this process?
Well, when you're dealing with the regulators, you're always subject to their rules and regulations, but the standard process for getting a new drug or a new procedure...
Not that part. The part where you're actually working on curing the cancer, that part.
Okay, so on that part, the first quarter, we'll start the human trials on the phase 1 2A clinical trial. We would finish that in 2015, and if our results were as good as we think they are, and we can convince the FDA of that and achieve what's called breakthrough status, we may have this available to the general public in 2016 to 2017. Okay,
that is quick. The other part that I'm really trying to drive at, the treatment part. That's the cycle time for the treatment part to kill the cancer, like you had described.
Okay, in dealing with bladder cancer, and with all cancers they would be slightly different, but in dealing with bladder cancer, the model is simply, it can be done, it doesn't have to be done in a surgical suite. It can be done in your urologist's office. The compound is injected into the bladder through a catheter. It takes about 45 minutes to absorb. You then void the bladder. You fill it with distilled water. You put in that fiber optic bundle, that fishing line that lights up. It takes about 40 to 45 minutes to activate, and you can destroy it in 2 to 3 hours. So this is an outpatient procedure. This is something that you could have done in a Friday afternoon one day.
Are you saying you could cure cancer in 4 hours?
That's what this technology holds.
Oh, you're going to make so many. You're definitely on the Christmas list. I mean, not to make light of it, but I mean, that is amazing. The world has been waiting for this. Okay. Let me move. I mean, unless you want to bring other things out before I move on with another question for you, please.
No, by all means, Michael, go ahead.
Oh, I'm just amazed at what you're doing. Okay, and please, I applaud you. All right, cancers that Theralase technology destroys. Let's walk through the spectrum of where you're going to be able to deploy this to help humankind.
Well, the lead cancer, obviously, for ourselves is bladder cancer. It's a devastating disease. There's about 70 to 75,000 occurrences in the U.S. per year, around 15,000 deaths. So we're going to start by getting that cancer under control first. From there, we'd like to expand. We're talking about research with other institutions right now for brain cancer. There's a lot of interest in breast cancer, and from another U.S. institution, a lot of interest in prostate cancer. So as you can well appreciate, breast is the largest cancer, the most proliferant for women, and prostate for men. Another one we'd like to get into is lung cancer. So we're looking at, starting with bladder, the top fifth most common cancer in the U.S., and then moving to some of the larger cancers or more occurrence cancers, the breast, brain, prostate, and lung.
In the model so far, the animal model so far, has there been a variety of successes, some more than others? Bring that out.
Well, in the animal models, we've done what's called a subcutaneous model. And the subcutaneous model is we've injected 350,000 cancer cells under the skin of the animal and allowed the tumor to grow to around 5 millimeters in size. It's about a little less than half an inch. And at that point, we've injected our compound into an intertumor injection. We've light activated it, and we've destroyed the cancer within 24 hours. That was completely destroyed in that animal. The beauty, we've looked at those mice 20 months later, and they've had no recurrence, no cancer, and no scar tissue. And what's fascinating about that point is mice only live 18 to 20 months.
Right.
So this mouse lived his entire life, after one treatment, cancer-free. The equivalent of 20 months of mouse years is equivalent, roughly, to around 50 human years. So here is one treatment, destroyed the cancer, and that mouse lived his entire life.
Is there
cancer-free.
That is just amazing. This will change mankind with this, with what you're doing. This is a revolutionary shift here. Is there a stage of cancer that you need to engage Theralase? In other words, this is too far for it to even work.
Well, at some stage when the cancer is localized, it's in a benign state or it's in a local state, for example, in a certain area, the brain, the breast, the prostate, the bladder, etc., right. It's obviously easier to attack. Where cancer becomes much more difficult if it's metatastasized and it's spread to other organs, or it's spread to bone, or it's spread to other tissue in the body, then it becomes much more difficult. Not impossible, but much more difficult to treat, just because you have to have so many different locations to go after. So it's always much easier to destroy it when it's held to a certain area. Now, the good news is that cancer does start in a specific location. Most people find out, for example, bladder cancer, 70% of those 70,000 people that are diagnosed with bladder cancer every year have the cancer localized to the urothelium, the inner lining of that bladder. So it's a very early stage disease. So 70%, or almost three-quarters, are picked up very, very early by the medical system. So this is a stage that you can go and you can destroy that cancer. Even if it progresses and it goes into the muscle area, we can still destroy it. But if it breaks out from the bladder and it starts to go to other organs in the stomach cavity or the peritoneal region, that's when it becomes much more difficult, because it's just so much more areas to try to destroy it.
Got that. All right, we have a minute left. You have milestones between now and 2017. Please bring those out before we close on this segment.
With our milestones that we're coming down, we're obviously launching on the therapeutic division that new therapeutic device, which we feel will be a major impact on chronic pain and acute pain in the U.S. You'll see press releases coming out on the development of that technology between now and the summer, with the launch coming in September. With the cancer technology, what you'll find is the preclinical development, our manufacturing, ramp-up of the manufacturing of the drug, ramp-up of the animal models, ramp-up of the clinical protocols, culminating at the end of the year into what's called a pre-IND, or investigational new drug application, to the FDA. With an IND approval, or an investigational new drug application approval, we would commence human trials as early as first quarter 2015. So you'll see a lot of news coming out on the company this year.
You have to come back and keep us apprised of what's going on.
It would be my pleasure.
Roger, it's been an extreme pleasure, and thank you, and I know that you're going to change mankind. Thank you so much for your work.
Michael, thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. All right, Roger White, the symbol TLTFF, Theralase is the name of the company. Ladies and gentlemen, you definitely have to follow up with these people, Theralase.com. All right, coming up next on the, oh, by the way, and special thanks to Monk Media and 1-800-PublicRelations.com for all their PR and media support. Up next, we're going to be bringing on Bob Lorish, Chairman, CEO, MMR Global. They have major announcements. These people were on our show before. This is another groundbreaking interview. We'll be right back.